Hope everybody's doing good today. So here a while back, I got thinking. I just recently did a review on my 2023 KTM 350 XCF. Great bike and everything. Had it a little bit over a year. Then I also got a 2020 KTM 300. Just the old workhorse. And I bought it brand new. I've had it 40 months now. So the title is a 40 month review of this bike. I'm the only owner. I thought maybe I'd go through it and, discuss a little bit some of the things I've done to the bike, some of the upgrades, likes, dislikes, that type of thing. So anyway, without further ado, here is my 2020 KTM 300 XC. And like I said, I bought this bike brand new in May, or maybe it was June of 2020. And I'm getting older now, so I kind of forgot. Before this, I had a 2008 300 XCW, so I was kind of hooked on the 300s. And this was quite an upgrade. I mean, I really liked the 08 and some things that maybe even did a little bit better, but I really, really liked this 2020 XC. And the reason I got thinking, maybe I'll do a 40-month review on this bike. I mean, there's a lot of people can't afford new bikes, or they'll buy these bikes, which are kind of overpriced anyway, and keep them for a while. There's been a lot of attention to the new TBIs. And people say, oh, the TPIs, they're outdated and everything. I really don't think so. Because I've rode with people that have the TBIs. I've rode the TBIs, and they're great bikes, don't get me wrong. But, I get back on the old workhorse here. I just seem to love it. So I thought, well, there's a lot of these bikes out there. There's probably a lot of people that'd be interested. Well, how do these bikes hold up? What do you think of them? What do they do well? Have you had any problems? And so on. So anyway, right now I'm going to start out with just a few of the upgrades I've done to the bike. So as you can see right now, seat concept. If you're looking for a comfortable seat, I would strongly recommend it. I've also got one for my 350, and they're kind of spendy. This was like $400 shipped to me, but I just think they're second to none. Really work well. In the exhaust, the only thing I've done, I've got an Endura Engineering cap on the back there, and this does have the screen, so you need to clean it periodically. It will plug up on you. I mean, I've never had it totally plug, but it's just something you kind of want to keep in mind. I've got to put a skid plate. These models didn't come with a skid plate, so the Artubi skid plate works really well. Plus, it actually's got a cover for the rear shock too. So that's really a nice feature to have. This bike, I geared it up a little bit. I just recently put on a set of Ironman sprockets on the back and on the front. I got a new chain. In fact, I even rode with a new chain, you can tell. Brand new chain on there. Fastway foot pegs, great pegs, wide. For me, being 6'2", they push me down and back a little bit, and I definitely like that. And shark fin on this side. And the only other grades, and I'll go into the suspension here in just a second. I've got a couple other little guards and things on there. I've got some risers. You can probably see the riser in the handlebars. I got the cover off now, so I really like that. Suspension. I'm going to start with the rear shock first. On this particular model, I think it came with a 4.5 or a 4.6. For my weight with gear, which is around 240, I had to go up to a 5.2. So got a 5.2 spring on there right now. Fairly easy to do. You got to take off a couple things, the side plate and the muffler and that, and you can squeeze the shock out of there. The only thing I've noticed with the heavier spring, I had to use a lot more rebound to keep the shock spring, or keep the suspension from rebounding too fast. I think if I did this in the future, I would probably have it revalved. I mean, it's acceptable the way it is, but you get on some real fast whoops, and sometimes it's kind of hitting you in the butt. So it needs to be sprung a little bit differently, I think, in the rear shock. Front forks, AER air forks. Some people say they're junk, some people don't like them. I personally really like them. And I tell you what, the trick to these is adjustability. There's a lot of things you can do. What I did and made the biggest change, this is the spring side here. There was a guy on the internet a while back, and I think he worked for KTM. He said, you know, really, there's no dampening effect in the spring side. Is all you have, you just got the air pressure over here, which acts as your spring. He said the best thing to do here is just put in a nice slippery 530 weight motor oil, a synthetic, and that seems to work pretty well. On this side, of course, I use a fork oil. This is where all your dampening and everything is. So I got a 5-weight Maxima fork oil in there I changed, and it really seemed to make a difference. For me, I like to run anywhere from 135 to 140 air, and I'll go out to as far as 20 out on the compression and maybe 10 out on the rebound. It's a good combination. Going through some rocks and stuff, it does kind of throw you around a little bit. Our spring fork might be a little bit better, and I have rode other people's bikes that have the conversion on there, but the way it is, it's pretty acceptable. It's not quite as good as the forks here on my 350. This is a 23, and the dampening is definitely better. And I did the same things with that. I changed the oil on both sides. I put motor oil in the air side and 5-weight over here, and it really made a difference. So if you're looking for a cheap solution that'll work, try that. And remember, these are adjustable. There's a lot of things you can do. Don't be scared about adjusting the clickers of these when you're riding in different areas. When I go from the desert riding out to riding a track, you know, I'll adjust them a little bit different. That's about it for the guards or for the upgrades on there. Really, I haven't done much. It hasn't required too much at all. As far as the likes, what I really like about this bike, well, I like the motor. No, it's not the TBI. It's a TPI. But I tell you what, this bike has grunt. It goes. You want to rip, it rips. For me, for what I do, I mean, it's plenty motor. Whether I'm on a motocross or out in the desert whoops or some tight single track. Great little motor. Tight single track, I'd probably want to gear it down a little bit. It's geared kind of tall for that, but I think it's acceptable. Reliability. This bike has been super reliable. Like I said, I bought it brand new, and I got about 150 hours on it. I have the original top end. I haven't touched the oil pump. It's been super reliable. Never failed to start. I replaced the spark plug one time just because I felt sorry for it. Like my buddy, he has the same year, the XCW. He has the original spark plug at his, and I think he's around 150 hours too. So, hey, if this is what you can afford, if it's available, don't hesitate. These TPIs are good bikes. Yeah, I guess there've been a few of them blow up, a few oil pumps go out, but it's pretty rare. I even talked to a mechanic at a KTM dealership. He says, you know, he thinks they got one in 2 years. The oil pump went out in it, and he thinks they might ran out of oil. So there you go. Transmission on these is fantastic. I haven't had a bit of problems. Just maybe every, I don't know, 5-10 hours, change the oil in there. I mean, well made, good quality. Nothing seems to go haywire in them. These bikes, to me, they're neutral handling. They turn well, not fantastic. Stability is really good. Maybe got a little bit of a heavy feel to them, just because it's actually, this bike weighs more than my 350. It's kind of hard to believe. Brembo brakes, great, second to none. I mean, fantastic. You know, good rims on the bike, stock. Really nothing you have to do to it. But like I said, TPIs, they're great bikes, absolutely. People that haven't rode them, they're missing a lot. These were good bikes. KTM stayed with this format for, I think, like 5 years, you know, before they went to TBI. If I was going to talk some dislikes, I wish the bike maybe turned a little bit better. And one other thing I've noticed, right here is where you fill the oil up. I ended up, and I've noted when I first got it, there was tendency for dirt, crap, and dust to get by the cap. So you can get these little guards, and they're not very much money. They're like slaving somewhere, put on here. They do a great job keeping dirt and everything out. Every one I've seen leaks, so that's something you got to keep in mind. When these first came out, there was a tendency for the power valve cover. If you fall or something, it would hit against the radiator and you might get a little pin leak in your hose. I know several people that have got leaks in their hose for that same reason. They fell over on the left side and started leaking. All I did in here, I just reinforced it. I put another piece of plastic in there, and I had no problem. I think over the last few years they've upgraded that. I haven't heard any problems with the 2020 or the 2022, 2023s. I know the 2021s, that was still an issue. But this bike has still got the original plastic, original graphics. You know, when I ride it hard out in the desert, single track, proven to be ultra reliable. A great bike. If I had to do over again, I'd definitely buy one. In fact, after I bought my 350, I thought, well, I probably won't need the 300 and put it for sale, but I just couldn't do it. And this bike, it's so much fun to ride. I mean, all 300s, all two strokes, are much fun to ride. But this one's no exception at all. So I decided, oh, maybe I'll go ahead and keep it. Yeah, great bikes. If you take care of it, it's like anything else you got to take care of. Proven no problem at all. I'm thinking, yeah, maybe at 200 hours I'll rebuild the motor. But look, you know, I'm not running this thing wide open all the time. I like chugging it. And these bikes, I've heard of some of these bikes going 300, 350, 400 hours. Original top ends. That's probably pushing it a little bit. But it's just an indication. You keep your air filter clean. You know, keep oil in there. Make sure you have plenty of water in the radiator. They'll go a long ways. Change your transmission oil when you should. Fantastic bikes. Fantastic bikes. In fact, I think it's probably funner to ride than really I like my 350, but these things are just amazing to ride and everything. But anyway, there you have it. If anybody has any comments or any tech tips or anything you'd like to put in with this, hey, comment down below. Thank you for watching.